maybe even within eyesight, you can see sort of in the distance, and you hear a noise inside, like somebody sort of moving around things and chiding someone. It's like, stay down, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. What do you do?
This is just somebody's house by the side of the road?
Yeah. Like you were trying to follow the road, and then you sort of lost
my way in the fog and saw this place, which I pointedly didn't see the last time I was here.
Or just didn't, or more to the point, it wasn't important. It's just a cottage.
Does it sound like people are fighting inside?
Seems like somebody's very busy inside. It seems two voices, one younger, one older. And the older voice seems to be saying, like, stay here, it'll be fine, don't worry about it. It's like, no, I have to leave now.
I will rap upon the door.
Coming. And somebody opens the door and it's like, oh dear. What can I help you?
Forgive me for this intrusion. I am but a humble almoner, and I have lost my way in the fog. Might I come inside and warm myself and ask for guidance upon how to get back to the city?
Oh, it should be very easy, but come in. I don't have anything to drink other than water, I suppose, if you want.
Please, if I could just warm myself by your fire, that would sustain.
And it's a one-room cottage. You see in the one bed is a young rat who seems to be sort of, his eyes seem to be bloodshot and sort of shaking his head. And he's saying, like, I'm all right. I can go. I need to go. They probably miss me now. It's just, I can't stay
sick?
here. More like confused, right? He's sort of like, it seems like he's being taken, like he had been asleep and now sort of putting his clothing. It's like, forgive me, forgive me. I have this young man that I found. Could you observe him? I found him in the woods. He apparently had, said something about escaping or something. I'm not really sure.
Escaping, and he has no name to tell us.
Well, sorry, young man. Please answer the question. Like, Rafeal, I'm from the circus. I need to get back. I need to get back.
It's late and the fog is thick. You could catch your death of cold.
Well, I mean, I was fog. Why there's a fog? I know. And he sort of looks out the windows like, fog. Oh, I guess there's. There isn't. What
you seem troubled, brother.
Yeah, well, my head it hurts. Oh, I mean, I was supposed to be working, and then I woke up in the forest, tied down, and I had to literally chew my way through it, and it just, and I came here, and the nice lady, she has helped me. Thank you, lady. And now you're here, and they're gonna kill me.
So you suffered a blow to the head. That's terrible. Have you lost your wits?
No. I was working at the mansion, the manor. We were unpacking things, and then everything became blurry. And
which manor was this? And once again, sir, you have advantage. I don't know your name.
Rafeal. Yes, that's my name, Rafeal. Yes, that's my name. Yes.
This doesn't match Rafeal's description, does it?
To a T.
Please, I'm a healer. Let me examine you.
Oh, right. Sure. And she brings like a bottle of water, and so he can drink. Is like, thank you, my lady. Yes, lady, thank you.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and examine him, but yeah, I guess is Rafeal. He's has he indeed suffered a blow to the head?
No, what seems to happen, he seems to be, his eyes are bloodshot or something like that. Like somebody who has been drinking a lot or similar situation, right? But usually, unless you are completely blind drunk, you don't have memory loss in your experience.
Well, recovering from a powerful intoxicant is, I think, what you're saying.
Yes. It's the
What
possibility.
was the name of his family again that was mentioned in the letters?
Which family in the
The one
letter?
that was
Oh
sending him
yeah.
the letters. He was corresponding with them.
Oh yeah. I didn't give the family name.
Okay.
It's
I'll go ahead and drop that name, saying, does this name mean anything to you?
yes, Mama. Why? What do you know, my mother?
I know
But
of
she's
these
not
people.
here, is she?
I work for for Lord Gregory, who is an agent of the law. Yes, everyone is worried about you. Disappeared for quite some time. It is fortuitous that I've come across your path, for I can go ahead and guide you home.
Right. Yes. And the woman, she's a shrew, and she's like, but he needs rest. I'm sorry. I mean, the poor fellow.
He needs
Look,
rest and
hasn't eaten
food
in
and
24.
drink. In fact, I think we all need some food and drink. Now that I think about it,
Yes, by all means. It's sort of she
let's
offers you
get
a table.
together and pray for this lucky happenstance that has happened to us. For surely it is part of the divine plan.
She does. She makes us a sign, a holy sign, and the poor Rafeal sits down and like, at least something. He tries to eat. They basically have like soup, but he's like, mm, mm, mm. So I don't want to. Takes a big gulp of water so he can just put it all down because he's still feeling queasy. Like,
Once everyone is suitably fortified, and I think that Rafeal is fit to travel, I'm going to say we have to get him home. Everyone's worried about him, and thank you again for your hospitality.
yes, of course, anything to help in this life and the next, I suppose. Uh, well, good young man, be very careful. Can't just wander out in the woods like that. It's like, yes, yes, Senora. I'm sorry.
I'm going to wait until we're away from the family to be more disposing to Rafeal.
Yeah. He basically wandered off. He kind of was like, he seems to be feeling a little better, but yeah, still kind of woozy. So I guess we have to go that way, I think.
Yeah, no, I know the way back to town.
Ah,
Rafeal, everyone is worried about you, but I'm going to need to take you to the magistrate.
oh,
I
well,
fear you've been the victim of foul play.
oh, I guess. Sure, lead the way. Um, hmm.
Okay,
Oh,
because I need to find Spencer.
okay. Uh, yeah. So you're gonna meet up with Spencer. Okay. So we've done the three things. Everybody meets back again. We have the information that you have gathered so far. So you're back at Chateau Gregory.
Well, if I need
Varkin.
Rafeal and Spencer in the same room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have them.
Excellent.
Who's this
Spencer,
gentleman?
why, it is none other than Rafeal,
Goodness,
He's
I had feared him dead.
alive.
our missing corpus delicti.
He's nervous, right? Because he's like surrounded, and you mentioned by the time you get there, he's whatever was affecting him is clear, but he's very nervous. Like you can see almost like he's grabbing his
Oh,
hand.
you look
Praise the
terrible.
heaven.
Here, have some alcohol. This definitely cures everything.
Yeah, seconded.
Thank you, Signori. Thank you.
Unfortunately,
Gracias.
he has been under the influence of bad medicine. But fortunately, that since I say, patting Spencer in the back, are men of science, we can indeed find a way around this. Rafeal,
Certainly.
we are about to submit you to a medical procedure that is designed to assess the damage to both your body and your soul. We ask that you submit to this procedure and do not resist.
Uh, this,
Before we begin this, Rafferty, if you are implying that I should mind read him, we will need a respite before I can refresh it.
All right, everybody can take a nap.
You napped since last night, haven't you?
A day has passed? Okay.
Yeah, this is the next day. That's why I went and got you. Because you
Okay,
should
then.
be able to find things in his memory that even he doesn't know.
So two
Yes.
rules about your operation: one, not on the kitchen table, and two, keep it down while I take my siesta.
This should be quite
No
a while.
promises.
Now, another question for Rafferty. Can you aim a resisted spell if you're only targeting one person?
Resistance spells can't be aimed.
Okay.
But he can voluntarily lower his resistance. According to the rules, you can voluntarily lower your speed, your will, and all of your skill dice. What's this resisted by?
Let me just throw up the mind reading for now, and because I don't have it memorized. Mind, deceit, and presence.
Right, so we can get him to not use deceit and presence and only roll his mind. You could declare him the only target. The trick here is we're going to want to get as many successes as possible, which means after you roll, you might want to throw your personality in there because we have to read more than... He's got amnesia, so reading his surface thoughts isn't going to help us. We need to get at the lost thoughts in his head.
And not just memories, but the deep ones. So 3 successes is what we need.
Deep is what we really want, yeah.
okay.
So I have 3 successes. I actually rolled good this time. Thank you, dice.
He does have to roll his mind die to resist.
He's just gonna roll a d6 and that's it.
Yeah, he's probably regular. Right?
Yeah, no, he failed.
Excellent. That's the 3 successes we need. We can now, Spencer can now reach deep within his head and find out what happened that night, even though he doesn't remember it.
Yeah. You basically start. I put his picture. It's like you're kind of walking with him, right? But you're like a living shadow, right? And you've seen this done before, where you sort of you take and you in practice. What happens is you sort of take the shadow of a person or become like a if the memories have a mirror, you appear in the mirror, right? You're a presence in this image of his mind, right? And you start in with him sort of being ordered around to pick up boxes and be careful and stuff like that. And he's picking boxes. Another rat, but this one in finery, sort of taps him on his shoulder and orders him, to deliver one of those boxes, to take not another box that is there. Basically dragoons him into doing some other work. And you can hear him complaining about it. It's like, but I have to go back and I have to do this. It's like, no, sir, you must do this. This is, I want to deal with peasants telling me what not to do. I need this help. Like very, very imperious, very much order. So he's, young lad that he is, he actually helps. Eventually, when he's sort of finishing, when he's putting down these boxes, he rises and feels all of a sudden a hand in his face, and everything becomes very blurry. And you sort of see this reflection in the mirror, and you see the face of the person who's doing this. It's in a side room where basically everything is being covered with tarp, but there's a mirror that he sees, so I think you can see the face there. And it's sort of
Convenient.
that's basically his mind. That, for example, this is not it's not photographic, right? What happens is the mind try to process things. So sometimes the things that you see might not be there, and if you were to go to the real world,
that's a problem.
Yeah. So basically, the mirror effect could be that it was a mirror, or it could be that that's how his mind is processing the presence, right? And by the voice, it's like, shh, go to sleep, lad. Go to sleep. Take you out for this. I'm sorry. And you see the same face of the stern rat that it was ordering him around, right?
Right.
He then finds himself in the wood, and he hears sort of rustling like a shadow. He's, in fact, when you found him, he had sort of like, he feels like somebody tosses him something in the face, like some cloth, because he didn't find him naked, like he was clothed. And you see kind of like a shadow sort of doing some movements that look like a shadow sort of putting close. Now what you're seeing is it's sort of this elongated shadow of the side of this from this tree, and that shadow is sort of putting close and stuff like that. And it's sort of the shadow comes in, and sort of you see those yellow eyes sort of float in front of his face. It's like, well, if this works, lad, you won't remember a thing, and even if you do, it should be long gone.
Is this the same rat that was killed in that carriage accident during the chase, or is this somebody different?
You know, it looks like the same.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, as much as we can tell from their horribly malformed corpse.
Exactly. You know, it looks very
Well,
similar.
unfortunately, in the memory, he's also alone, correct?
Yeah. It looks at it. A good thing. I'm going to be long gone if I do it right. If I don't, well.
Yeah, that just, well, it's good to have corroboration, but unfortunately, I'm glad Rafeal's all right, but this only confirms all of our suspicions.
And then sort of everything blurs, and then he finds himself in a bed with a sort of older shrew lady sort of, helping him out. And you see flashes of him being tied to a tree and sort of, chewing at the upper ropes, and then sort of desperately, you have this sense of desperation that he's so in panic because, if he's tied to a tree, nobody finds him, he's going to starve to death. He's going to, gonna die. And eventually he gets it low enough so he can get his own claws to rip the rest, and he sort of gets off the ropes and sort of wanders around and see the sort of this meandering path, and then finds himself again in the cottage. And then of course he remembers the little shrew lady helping him, trying to help him. He finds himself like picking at his clothes because his clothes are not his clothes, right? And and he remembers Vesper coming in and guiding him to his place, and then that's when the memories sort of fade out.
Now, Spencer, if I may opine, this is where I'm confused. If one is an assassin, what's 2 murders as opposed to 1? Why bother sparing this man's life?
Right, why leave a witness? Too bad I can't read a mind while reading a mind.
Well, the ability to read the mind of a corpse is a different power that we won't be delving into today.
Yes. I'm not wearing the right color robe for that.
Right. So this deepens it even further, because this makes me think that this must be driven by ideology more so than base power or money. Because whoever this assassin was, they respected this man's innocence.
Yes. So that means we were dealing with a special sort of assassin.
I think there are people who do question the legitimacy of the rule here, especially if it's propped up by Calabri's money.
Yeah, so he's probably sparing the commoners who he would deem as innocents, and only killing the guilty, that he would, the nobility who he considers, quote unquote, the guilty.
I would concur exactly.
So we're dealing with somebody with principles, we could say.
Well, zealotry, I think, is a good word that I would use for this. This is very troubling indeed. We've already witnessed one case of the provincialism with the stolen iron. Now we're witnessing an upset. This could be an entirely secretive, clandestine organization of 2 or more trained individuals working against the rule.
Indeed.
Well, that's what we can tell Lord Gregory if he were here and not complaining about needing a nap.
Well, you're in my house. You can come wake me up, I'm sure.
No, that's all the way in the other room, and I already sat down.
And Harmon will be outside the door going like, he needs his nap.
Look, I'm enjoying my sunbeam here on the couch in my house, so if you want to disturb me.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is very much sedition.
Yes.
It makes me very upset because This land already is a house divided.
Yes, these people are fighting against divine rule.
That would explain why they put their faith in a Lady Veritas, the true rulers of the place.
And Lady Veritas is the one who ordered the guns smuggled in, so she might have a hand in this. Do you think she might be trying to overthrow the current leadership?
If Lady Veritas is a real person,
True,
but
true.
in any event, they would be the avatar of this entire anti-royalist organization, which apparently goes deep, takes pains. This is the second time we've seen them take pains to not harm the locals. Um, I think it's almost certain that they have agents among the commoners who will be fiercely loyal to them.
Yes. Questioning them will be difficult.
Well, I suppose we could train you up until the point where you command people's souls like the master puppeteer that you are.
I'm working towards that end, yes.
Not that I encourage taking people's will away from them, which is the ultimate violence to inflict upon someone.
I do agree. That's why I would
Have you
not
considered
use this.
repenting and joining the church? I mean, just a little.
I prefer my freedoms. Independence has its...
Well, there'll be a little consolation from you when you're denied the shining light of all heaven, but I think it's time for breakfast.
And and the poor Rafeal is like, are we done? Is that the thing that?
I suppose we should go take Rafeal home. I'm sure they really miss him.
Yes, sure. I would not like to go by myself. I'm sorry. Considering what happened last time,
do you feel recovered enough to go home by yourself?
I think we should escort him because he is a loose end.
Well, I can go ahead and take care of this. You should probably speak with the rest of the folks. Plus, also, while I'm away, I'll go ahead and stop at the church and offer more charity, since I should be doing that as much as possible.
Are you going to the church that is being built up as a cathedral, or are you going to the smaller church that you're?
Whichever one's closer. I maybe.
Yeah, you're closer to the
charitable, but I'm not like martyr.
The main. You're closer to what as I described last episode. There is a sort of very large church close to the.
Yeah, it's like a mission or a hospital. It's
And but now it's being built up, and the process of transforming it into a large cathedral, and that's going to take time, of course, and a lot of money. It used to be called basically the the name is not important right now. It's what's important is that they've been working. So you go in there, and what reasons you tend to avoid this place mostly, but it's close. It's one of the closest to the manor that you're in, is because there's always noise of construction, right? There's always people coming back and forth, and bustling and all that. There's also always, but the good thing from your position is always people begging for alms outside, right?
Well, we don't call that a good thing that people are begging for help, but yeah, no, I mean, I'll just I think Spencer can get Gregor up to speed on all of this, and I'll just continue my duties.
Yeah, so you do that, and it's again bustling. People are coming back and forth. They're doing the outer lattice where they're constructing the Gothic columns. That's one of the most complicated things. But you also see people coming in and working on the underneath the church itself. Like people are going and kind of forward because underneath the church, that's where the bodies of knights and other memorable, including high kings, have been buried, right? So it's what's called the crypt, yeah, underneath the church, which is supposed to be massive, right? And there's people coming and going, so they want to make sure that they don't damage that area while they're working Other critique. Also, they're expanding it for future use as well. So
expanding the crypt because there's always more people coming in and no one going out if you're doing the crypt
Spencer
correctly.
Spencer goes to Griffin, and you basically tell him what's happening. Dax is also probably coming in, and whatever they found out, they're going to share with the rest of the group, or they're just simply there to observe and participate as they see fit.
Yeah, Spencer will share his and Vesper's concerns about the sedition, the fact that this assassin is targeting nobles and sparing commoners, even though it could, be an eyewitness. It could cause him trouble, but he's still doing it.
That's a very good point. I assumed it was just because he wanted some clean clothing out of it all. He did leave him tied up in the woods with no escape, and I don't think he'd be going back. So he would die eventually. But, no, one less body for people to think about then.
Oh, rats are notorious for being able to escape bonds.
I don't know. I don't think Rafeal enjoyed that experience.
I mean, they get contortionist as a gift. Plus, also, we don't know he wasn't planning on going back. I don't think he was planning on getting killed in a horrible.
Right, it's not good if you leave someone at the bottom of the well just because you assume that they can get out.
Mm-hmm.
It's still terrible. But yes, but I suppose as far as
else is terrible, murdering a king. Why do you ask?
But as far as investigative leads right now, I have noted a person of interest, and I'm hoping maybe I could get into contact with them. They have an estate outside of town, but I figure I can invite myself in somehow. So I'm waiting to see if I can get back on that. Snooping around probably wouldn't be too bad either, but no need to burn bridges if we don't have to. Though speaking of burning bridges, there's that captain, and we still don't know where where those barrels went exactly, and if we had a direct lead there, then we have all the more reason to go and invade the manor and find the barrels. But of course, the only way we could do that is by the means of justice most trusted here in the Isles, going to the captain and beating the shit out of him until he confesses. The only true form of justice we know.
Hey, Harmon, we got a job for you.
So I don't beat the shit out of non-combatants.
I'm sure he'll put up quite a fight.
I'm not a thug. I'm a soldier.
Well, you're an agent of the law, and this man's already a smuggler. But, those are my thoughts so far. Does anyone have anything to add or suggest?
Well, you do have the noble pool to perhaps convince the captain to cooperate in a clandestine manner by perhaps suggesting he do the same sort of thing for you, and then we watch his methods and maybe try to trace where the barrels went using that kind of knowledge. I don't know, that's kind of far-fetched.
Right, we could do a true arrest, bring him in, and let the Chamberlain torture him until he confesses, too. That is also an option. But, I feel like maybe the best option is to maybe keep the captain off the books, so we at least have the ability to offer him some amnesty in exchange for cooperation.
Well, we do have to be careful that he's not going to ship out before we're ready to do what we need to do with him.
Well, it's been less than a day so far. He can't have left already. And if he does leave, he'd probably want some cargo, I'm sure. But, I suppose those are our options we want to deal with the captain, and otherwise we're going to see if we can interact with this, lady.
So, how are you going to approach the captain, sorry?
I think that's like the question of debate here that I'm trying to offer up. Do we want to just arrest him? Do we want to go harass him and offer him amnesty? Or do we just want to beat him up until he tells us what we want to hear?
Well, we could arrest him, then offer him amnesty. The good cop, bad cop situation.
You see, that's the thing. If it's on the books that he's already smuggling and he's going to jail, we can't offer amnesty for his crimes in a surreptitious manner.
I was confused on the definition of amnesty. I'm sorry.
Right. We won't investigate you because we're too busy with something else.
I guess we could claim that this captain was innocent through ignorance, since, people who do smuggling don't ask questions if they're smart, so,
Well, we have his book, and we know he's very well aware of this.
Yes, so we do have leverage.
So, at the very least, we do have the means to, get our answer. Only thing is, which approach are we all most comfortable with?
I'd
You
vote
beat the
for
crap out of them to get what you want to know. All you're going to hear is what you want to hear, and not what you want to know.
Harmon, why must you be the voice of reason now? I wanted to have some excitement today. Fine, I suppose we'll talk to him. We will offer an olive branch. But I will still be there I will go there and announce myself in an official capacity to speak with him.
if we wait another day, come in the morning, I should be able to make another attempt to see exactly what he's hiding.
I don't think we need to go that far. I think we have all the tools necessary to get the words straight from his own mouth.
Very well.
Gregory is going to, look over at the rapier, over his family mantle. He's gonna sigh, and he's just gonna say, well, let's all go along, unless someone doesn't want to come with us.
I'm happy to go along. I'm curious if you intend to go into the bar he likes to frequent, or if your plan as a magistrate now is to have the River Watch collect him and bring him somewhere we can question him.
Well, I don't quite have the full authority for that, and again, like I said, if we go in with the warrant, then we have to arrest him, and then we can't offer him amnesty. That is our main bargaining tool.
Sure, yeah.
So, I will go there, and, I suppose let's proceed. I'm heading to the ship, where I assume he probably is right now. Instead of assuming he's out drinking all day.
Probably is in the ship.
Okay. So yeah, I'll go to the ship, and I assume they don't have, the gangplank down or anything.
No. So you go, well, during the day they do have the gangplank, because, people have to come in and talk to the captain. So it's during the night where they put it up so that,
Okay.
So yeah, the gangplank is down, and there's one actually, because it is daytime. You can see quite a bit of sailors, about 5 or 6 of them, basically just being lazy around the deck, right? Just wandering around talking, not pretty much attention. How do you approach this?
I'm going to approach the boat, and I will have someone I've, of course, paid to come up and announce myself and say, Lord Gregory Varkin III wishes to speak with the... Oh, give him a moment. What's the captain's name again?
First mate.
Jameson.
It's Captain First Mate.
Captain First Mate Squab.
Of the Not My Ship. Captain First Mate of the Not My Ship. Or this ship is stolen.
Sorry about that. Roommates.
Fair enough. All right.
So
yeah.
you announce yourself.
Yeah.
And the sailors look at each other.
Wishes to speak with Captain Jameson.
The captain comes in right into the top of the gangplank. It's like, what can I do you for, my lord?
Yes. Permission to board, or would you like to come down here to speak?
Go ahead. Come aboard.
All right. I'll come aboard and Harmon my back, of course. And I will go. Captain, I think we have a little bit of business to talk with.
Is Dax with you? That's
I was
important.
gonna say, I'm not sure if I should go, or if I do go, if I should go in disguise.
Only you have that information, so only you make the decision.
I think it'll be interesting. I think I'm gonna go, but maybe I'll disguise myself as more like a servant. I'm kind of playing the role as the scribe.
As another lion.
Oh, and
No, not as a lion, but just as not wearing the same.
Right.
Yeah.
because Spencer's been in the same area as the captain before, he's going to go in his gray robes instead of his purple.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, I think we have some business to discuss. I have a
Griffin, you have his attention, right? But you see that these men, and they're armed with like knives and belaying pins and clubs and stuff like that. So they're very utilitarian stuff, and of course their claws and teeth, and they need to use them as well. But they're sort of looking around, and many of them are, they have nothing better to do than to listen to what you're saying because you're on the deck talking to this person, to the captain. It's like, so my lord, what can I do for you?
Well, I come here offering you at least a chance to explain yourself and assist me in my investigation. For I have revealed and discovered certain things that you may have been doing on the sly, and such is not necessarily my business, but it does where it intersects with what I'm truly investigating. And I might be persuaded to overlook them, and perhaps not let the evidence ever see the light of day, if you could tell me, perhaps, where the barrels that you had here on your ship were delivered precisely to.
Come this way. He basically takes you to his cabin, the tiny little cabin that he has.
Yes.
So, you want me to give up the location of the? And he looks around, and that's when he sort of noticed. Well, he doesn't notice. Like, he probably noticed the moment he came back. It's a personal journal.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree if you were to return my property to me.
The journal, of course, you mean.
Yes.
I can have such arranged.
Otherwise, I would not like to have the Hanksman noose hanging over my neck, so to speak.
Of course. I had considered perhaps simply bringing you in and forcefully questioning you, but this seemed like the faster and more direct method. You get a chance to perhaps clean up your act and not let this happen again, and we get to proceed on with a much more troubling matter. I think it works out for all parties.
Well, there were some workmen that came in and picked up the barrels. Expected that they were of the explosive kind.
Indeed.
They paid quite a bit for it. Clearly, they were not. They did not have access to the local manufacturers, which, if I understand correctly, is still very expensive to do. It requires all kinds of permits and such.
I see. What can you tell me about them? What were their
They were
species? What were their dress? Did they have markings? Which direction did they go? Did they say anything?
Most of them were laborers. Day laborers, look like. I saw them heading up the street, and you know that from where the ship is at, if you go up the street, you will eventually go into the area of Care Tolwyn, right, of the central hub, right, because the river sort of runs parallel to it. It seems to be day laborers. They seem to be dirty. Seem to be people who just work there. I don't know if they knew what they were carrying. Only that they had to.
I see.
Makes sense. I wasn't about to tell them. As long as I got them on my ship.
Of course. And what do you know about the business arrangement overall? This Lady Valorant.
Who?
Or was that the right name?
Veritas.
Veritas. Lady Veritas.
She hires me from time to time About 6 months ago, she started. Well, not she, agents for her. Um, I suspect it's a lady. They always spoke of her as a lady. They came to me, said they wanted different things or people being brought. I make the route every so often back to Calabria, and it's a long journey. She's paid very good coin for certain things. Um, she said that she would. Well, these her agents thought that they could take care of everything, that I would not be exposed. But clearly, that's not the case anymore. Either they have betrayed me, cut me loose, which I'm not going to ask. It's none of my problem, as long as I keep my freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But that means that I'll have to take a very long journey somewhere else for the time being. Whether you succeed or fail, my life is still in the precarious situation.
Well, you have the vessel to do so with, at least.
Yeah.
So you never interacted with her personally. Quite a shame, I'm afraid. But her agents...
What? Different. Mostly of the working class, I would say. Felines. There was a fox or two. Even a bat.
A bat.
Never the same. Never the same.
Very
but
interesting.
they all refer to her as the Lady Veritas.
I don't suppose in your talks you've established what sort of business she might have. Has she made multiple requests such as these in the past? More powder? More guns?
No. In fact, it was very rare that she ordered the guns and the powder. Also very small boxes, usually. Very exotic stuff. Things you can't find in the Isles. I would suspect sorcery, but again, I'm not one to open the boxes. Not good for business.
Of course. Nothing precise.
But small, say no bigger than this. In fact, I was very nervous because the barrels were substantial and large and could easily be identified if anybody actually came looking for them. If they knew what they were looking for. Very risky. Seems I was right.
Let's see, I'm just thinking in my own head, man, this doesn't actually help us establish Lady Veritas' identity quite yet, and we still have to end up searching for everyone. But I think Gregory will actually go ahead and open up with another question and ask. Something's been curious. One of the things you delivered was a small gun with an embroidered L on it. Was there a longer rifle also a part of this package, or, well, I suppose a long box?
It was. He describes a box about yay big. I guess you could fit a rifle there. Again, I don't know who open it. I knew about the gun because what's very interesting was a rat that picked it up, and he deliberately opened the box and searched for it. And I saw the handle. I guess he was very keen at getting that particular gun.
Indeed. I'll tell you, of course, he uses it. He almost made his shot.
None of my business, if you know what I mean. The less I know, the better.
Well, I'm sure public will figure out some of this eventually, but hopefully not soon.
And not from us.
And I won't be here.
Indeed. Let's see. I'm trying to think of additional questions here. What do you guys have? Is there anything we think that he can kind of fill in the gaps in here?
Well, this Lady Veritas, whoever she may be, is smart enough to work through intermediaries, so we can't finger her that way. Unless we can get, better descriptions of some of her, I'm going to call it a cell. Then we might be able to get our information through one of them somehow if we can find them.
Right. it feels unlikely that we're going to find the informants, or at least not without some much more specific information, and the fact that it changes out every time means that she's specifically trying to avoid that from happening. That seems the hardest to do. The laborers, however. I will go ahead and press the captain for more details on the laborers, specifically so that we have the chance to identify exactly who made those deliveries.
Basically, he didn't pay much attention to any specifics, right? They just looked like day laborers, or maybe working on a construction site nearby.
Yeah.
But they had.
Then
I
guess like a place where like they
wagon.
arrange and wait for jobs or something. Maybe we could ask them there.
Yeah. They seem to have the kind of equipment like hammers and other things, and they have dust in them, like working with stone, perhaps. And wood. So I mean, nearby there's also shipwrights. So the kind of laborers you see in the river, they're very common, right? He did notice that they didn't seem to notice what they were carrying, and they were not particularly clumsy with it, but they didn't seem to care either. So maybe it was a crew that was hired just to pick them up and deliver them.
Exactly. It's a very interesting point of weakness that she would be so sloppy at the delivery phase. I think I'm almost done here. So I'll ask again, anyone have anything else they want to add?
I can't think of anything that would shed any light on this, so I'm done.
Right.
Maybe we could get a list of everything he smuggled in for her, but otherwise, I don't know. I think this is probably the last time we'll see this captain. I bet he's about to ship out. So.
Right. I think he's given us that listing already, more or less, or at least as much as he's described and seen, because he didn't, particularly look. But I bet that probably confirms stuff for Dax, who heard similar lists before, too. So that'll be interesting. So in that case, it doesn't clear up a lot, but it does give us a very direct lead that maybe we can try to follow. So Captain, I think that's all that I have here for today. I want to thank you for your cooperation in this matter. I'm glad that you can help us proceed in this investigation and tell us more about what's been going on. I, of course, recommend that you keep your head low and hope that no one comes for you. But we won't be sharing your name anytime soon, for sure.
I'll be waiting for the documents that you promised, and then I'll be on my way.
I'll have a messenger deliver it tonight.
Yes, and I have a job already lined up. Legal, of course.
Of course.
All about boards.
All right.
So, yes. Thank you for your time and for your benevolence. May we never speak of this again.
Indeed. All right. So I think it's time we go ahead, step off the boat.
Yeah, Harmon, you notice that you are aside, the sailors were very cagey, but in that sense of it's going to be a fight or not. But after about 20 minutes or so, the captain goes out and kind of looks around, and sort of they all calm down, and the tension passes. So whatever was said between Griffin and the captain apparently was good enough to settle the issue.
Yeah.
Right now, it would have been a tough fight because you were kind of outnumbered. That was 7 and 8 of them.
Numbers never matter to Harmon.
Yeah, he can't count.
Oh, that's harsh.
I count to one, the only number that matters.
The only one that'll be left. But I think with this information, I can go ahead and say, we ought to keep an eye on them to see if they make any sudden moves. But we don't need to act against them, I think. There are day laborers here. Maybe we can inquire upon who may have moved some barrels so many days ago and see if anyone happens to know, and then we can see if we can figure out where they delivered it to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably a bit of inquiry then around the docks. know exactly what we're looking for. We know exactly who we're talking to, and this should work out. Who's good at asking questions?
I have plenty of gossip and inquiry. D6s in both. Yeah, I'm typical.
All right. Well, I'm not much better, so I'll assist you because I'll give you the D12.
All right.
All right. So me and Spencer are up to this. What does anyone else want to do? Harmon probably is just coming with me regardless, I suppose.
Well, I'm also good at speaking to the common people. I understand the common people.
Right, you can translate the workers for us. So here is my assistance then, over to Spencer. That'll be a D12 for you.
So is this mind or will with this gossip check?
This will be mine.
Yeah. All right.
Unless you're
it's the same for me. I just want to make sure I get the label right.
Right, and okay. Vesper, would you like to roll as well?
That's a D8 for me.
You have a 9 or...
Let me roll that. Are you assisting Spencer?
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yes, I assist you.
So take an extra
so I'll roll
D8.
that extra D8.
You already have a 12, so that's good.
Gather round, people.
2 good successes.
Pretty solid, yeah. As Spencer, you're asking around, but it really is your friend, the presbyter, who is attracting most attention. In fact, one of them says, but sir, I mean, most of the people that are being hired recently are going up to the cathedral. That's probably where they're taking anything, I suspect. I mean, most of the laborers are now being hired for that. We don't get, in fact, there's a bit of a shortage. The captains are complaining that they're not getting enough people to work around here.
Was Vesper have to say about that? I think it was mostly directed.
Wait, I thought that was addressed to Spencer.
No.
He said Vesper.
Yeah.
He's talking
I'm
about
sorry.
church.
I'm sorry, I heard Spencer.
It's okay.
No, I just was pantomiming that, telling people the good word of things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they said they might be making deliveries to the church. You haven't happened to have seen strange barrels, possibly filled with gunpowder, heading in that direction?
Usually, no. We don't usually use gunpowder in the treatment of injuries. It's usually more of the supply side.
But I guess what he's saying is that most of the laborers are over there now, and we could probably resume asking them over there and see who used to be working over the docks doing this job. Is what I'm
If they'll
gathering.
speak to you, sure. Yeah, we could do that.
Okay. So we have a bit of the trail to follow, so we're just kind of winding along it right now, I think, Lessons.
Yeah. It takes you a couple of minutes to jog up the street and turn into the main thoroughfare, and you see because again the church is being transformed into this cathedral, like kind of Notre Dame type situation, and there's dozens, hundreds of workers coming in and out, and there's all kinds of packages and boxes and barrels and carts. And animals, draft animals, as well as pulleys and all that. So it's pandemonium, right? And also you have church officials coming in and out constantly. So what's going to be your approach? You gonna start asking questions, or what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think we're kind of just going back to the same thing. We're going and we're gonna pester every single worker and see, like, oh, were you over here at the docks this day moving barrels?
You are an agent of the law. The problem is if you show up as an agent of the law asking, hey, so were you doing any crimes? People are probably going to flee and run away.
Right, which is why I'm not asking about crimes.
Somebody...
I'm asking more like, has anyone had experience moving barrels recently?
Well, all of them will say that. What would be more helpful is if you had someone who could slip into the criminal underground and ask questions using their argot.
Right. But the assumption here is that these were just normal workers who weren't told what they were delivering.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is hence why we're all the way here now.
Yeah,
Oh,
sure
well,
when you say that about a barrel, you see a guy basically with a smaller barrel on his shoulders. Like, what? What was that?
Yeah, you're a heavy lifter.
Yeah, he just walks away, and there's a couple more behind him. Right? So,
yeah.
I mean, people lifting stuff is pretty much the #1 job at the cargo docks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we're more asking, like, who specifically may have helped haul stuff around the Lucky Whale.
Okay, so yeah, we can make inquiries. We made a gossip roll earlier.
Yeah. So, I can go ahead and do the same thing as before and assist whoever takes the lead on this one.
That's probably you, since you're an agent of the law.
Yeah.
Okay, true enough. So I can go ahead and just say, like, it is definitely
How
your
rich
duty.
are you? Can you offer monetary rewards?
You know what? I could. It might actually be in my preference to go ahead and try offering a monetary reward today.
Do you have money for that?
I have wealth, even.
I dare say you could offer money for positive information.
Yeah. And that would be easier than trying to
have to sort out the fakers from the people who actually know something.
Right. So I could probably go ahead and do this. Lessons, if wealth sounds good, I could go ahead just try offering up some kind of reward here.
Yes. Yeah,
and I'll assist him with a will and inquiry so I can help him suss out who's just talking to get money and who's actually legitimate.
I will also help in the same way.
Yes. And while this is happening, I gotta ask, nobility, and I don't have a law, so I can't tap that. I can only say it is your duty to give me the respect and truthful answers. Does nobility make sense for this?
I am more useful than Spencer, who knows nothing of the common people.
Yes, I've been sequestered away in 2 wizard's towers during my life, so fuck the world.
It will be a will, by the way, not a mine.
These are desperate people in desperate times. It drives people to do things. So yeah, I guess people just show up and I'll just have to look at them and say, is this what you want to really debase yourself with false information? You should go home and think about what you've done.
I love being flanked by inquisitors. Lessons, did you just say that was based on will here, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. I've gone ahead and I have a D8 on that now. And the second part is nobility. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, cool. Respect your superiors. Let's do it. I have a good bit of dice on this. That is 3 successes.
You're asking people, some people are intimidated, other people are like, sure, and they start babbling. So it takes you a while to sort of sort through what it is. While you're basically being told this, Dax, if you're there, you see somebody sort of dashing for the crypts, like taking a dash to the crypts. And you're like, what? And then and at that moment, some other people who take money, it's like they point in the general direction of the crypts. Like there's been a lot of delivery of plaster and other similar materials to the crypts, because when they were constructing the overstructure, they had to sink low into the ground, and they wanted to make sure that they didn't damage the crypts or even destroy them, right? And they were moving some and stuff like that. So yeah, all signs point to the basement essentially, and they're massive. I would say that even the footprint of the crypts is even almost twice as large as the original church, right? There's so many generations of nobles that have been, and knights and whatnot, that have been buried here. So they're massive. So what do you do?
I'm gonna follow that guy.
Do you want to like tap Harmon on the shoulder and get him to go with you?
I don't know about tapping him on the shoulder, but if he's paying attention, I think he'll notice me. Like I give him a look or something. I don't know.
If he's within medium range, I could hinder his flight.
If we do it, yeah.
This is while you guys are all talking. thought this was while you were all talking. So
Yeah, you're basically
Yeah.
talking, offering money, and some people are coming in to ask for money, and you have people that are asking for alms. They hear about money, and they come running.
No, that's tomorrow. That's when I'll be giving out alms. Come back later.
But please, I have 3 children at home, and my little baby has only one leg, and his name is Jimmy, and Jimmy is sick. And it's like you call everybody.
Timmy will reduce the surplus population. Well, he'll still have to survive until tomorrow.
You know what day tomorrow is? Christmas. It's Christmas tomorrow. Yeah.
It's spring. Festival was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Every time a bell rings, Solomon gets her wings.
Yeah. So Dax, you see that you're gonna inform everybody else, or you're gonna wait, or you're gonna pursue? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna pursue the guy. If I can inform people without it slowing me down at all, I would do that. But if they're all in a mass crowd,
Yeah, basically, because the moment the denarii started sounding the of money and the promise of money, people are rolling in either because they're curious or because they're just begging for money or whatever, right? Or lining up to give whatever information they think they're gonna give them some cash, right? It's it's basically it's payday loan office is open right there and everybody's making a line, right? So yeah.
Okay, then I don't want to lose the guy, so that would be my first priority.
So you
are right.
All right,
if
you're on a mission.
He was informed. If he can see this guy, I'm going to have him ready ataxia in a hand and cast it on this guy so he doesn't move so fast.
Yeah, the moment you start making, is it like a wand that you have in your hand?
No, you can just equip it in your hand.
Okay, so the moment like a flash comes in.
No, it's a mystic spell, so nothing. It's invisible.
Yeah.
So you just sort of point in the general direction, like, boop, that's it.
Gregory just raises his eyebrow, being the one who might possibly notice.
Roll then and see how we do.
1 success. Speed and dodge versus 3, and he gets any range penalties because this isn't the wand.
Okay, 1d6. 1d6. No, we got d6. It doesn't. Oh no!
Holy shit! In one draft of the rules, if you botch the resistance, you are permanently affected with the status. I don't think that happens anymore.
But consider the situation. Basically, you do the thing, and what exactly the spell does? It basically affects his mind and sort of clouds his mind. That's what happens.
It affects his muscular coordination. Let me take a look and see what slowed does.
Yeah, slowed reduces your movement and makes you easier to hit in combat. It basically, ataxia is the fits. It's making you shake uncontrollably.
Yeah, he basically he starts running, and he in the middle of putting his foot down, the spell hits, and he just simply starts flying and smacks his face in a nearby wall, like bam! And we was like, "What the hell's wrong with this guy?" And he sort of slides down, and there's blood everywhere, and he's trying to move, but it almost looks like the hit in the head, sort of like she's going into an epileptic shake. It's like, he's like, and people are like, oh, and being this the time that is, and people instead of trying to help the person, everybody sort of, spreads apart, like, oh, he's possessed. Oh, bring the almoner. Oh,
Oh, and just so you know the statistics, slowed gives a bonus d8 to hit. It doesn't say what kind of. It says it's called advantage. That kind of bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And their dash and stride both drop to 0, so their run goes down.
Yeah, but he fell so miserably, and he was trying to be so clumsy that. Yeah,
I'm just saying for next time.
Yeah, he's sort of like shaking the ground, and of course people are screaming, and some people are being aggressive, like they want to hurt this guy. It's like, oh, they haven't been possessed with demons. We must get rid of him. So some people are trying to get sticks and stones to just sort of get rid of him, right? Yeah, because like wow, some people are running, and there's panic, and the almoners are like, oh, look, and they grasp with their dirty hands.
Gregory will go ahead and step up and loudly announce himself and say, "I am Gregory Harkin III. I call an end to the madness now. Bring that one to me."
You're gonna have to do like an intimidation, basically. You're opposing. Are you using your ability?
That's what I'm good at.
Okay, well, go ahead.
So I'm gonna hit the scare button because that's basically what this boils down to: body, will, and presence. With 3 successes.
Yeah. Again, you part the sea of people, and people sort of bow to you and scrape, and someone grabs them, and a couple of people grab them and sort of throw them at your feet, like, "Here it is, my lord. He seems to be possessed. Oh, demons have taken over his mind."
Yes, and I'll look
And
over to like towards like Dax and Spencer, who always seem to know more about what's going on than I do, and see what they have to say as I'm like approaching.
he's like,
Dax-
in the ground, and 2 men are sort of grabbing him by the back, putting, in a chokehold, like he doesn't move. But they also seem to be kind of terrified, right? But
Yeah.
because of the combination of factors, they're doing that and make sure that it's better to placate you
Than him, yeah.
Than him, right? And it's like they made a choice that they were like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, fine, whatever.
Gregory is like standing nice, tall, and regal, and like several feet over them with like his staff at his side. He's just looking down over him, going, "So where were you off to so quickly?"
Yeah, he's terrified too. I'm not even bothered. He's like,
during this, Spencer's going to be looking at him, examining him like he doesn't quite know what's going on.
Yeah.
"Down, my lord, the hood is going down to the crypt.
To the crypt in such a rush.
Unleashed to unleash to finish the destroy the set it off before discovered.
You're just an awful one, then, aren't you? You're planning to
Forgive
blow
me,
this
my
whole
lord.
place up, weren't you?
Forgive me. Things must change. We must have change. Time is coming for change."
Well, you can tell that perhaps to a more sympathetic magistrate, but I will hear none of that today. For I have saved these people from you, such a menace as yourself. Now tell
And
me.
his eyes are rolling. He's basically
Yeah.
his eyes roll back, and he starts sort of foaming at the mouth. Darkness is coming. From darkness, liberation. History will repeat itself. That which was once broken will be made anew again. We live on the bones of fate. He's just rambling on, like, almost giving into himself to
Yes.
a sort of religious ecstasy. And it's just a change, and talk about change, and he's repeating the phrase. And when he starts doing that, and people say, like, they're like, oh, okay, now that's
Yeah,
too much.
I will
about
go
this,
ahead and
care.
direct them and
I'm
go,
not
this man is
Yeah.
useless right now. Keep him still until the guard get here, and make sure he is taken to the Lady Chamberlain in the castle.
No, they take him, basically.
Yeah, and I will wave over my compatriots and go, I believe we have a utmost terror which we must disarm. We must descend into this crypt immediately before people's lives may be put at risk. There's no telling if there might be other co-conspirators here.
Basically, because I need to go, but we're gonna wrap this up. And
yeah, this sounds like a fun, dramatic moment to put it on.
Yeah, as you go in, you realize you're searching around. You're all searching, and even you dragoon some of the people there to help you as well. And it's like you realize that there are certain sectors of the crypt that have been freshly paved over, right? And what at first looks like ornamentation, like maybe a column has been put a flutes column. When you sort of scratch over, it's been painted over, and in fact is a match, a long match.
Ooh.
So, and you see several of these alcoves, and you've actually counted 6 of them. You don't know much, but if all that went up, it will do quite a bit of damage.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know exactly how it would go. You don't know anything about explosives and demolition, something like that. But you don't want to be that close to that many significantly large barrels of gunpowder.
That's okay. Let the fire mage close to it.
Yeah, whatever it is. In fact, at one point, it's a little dark, and somebody comes with a torch, and you see Harmon go like, But sir, I just want to see where it's like.
Well, if it is dark in there, Spencer does have a light he can summon.
Yeah, the thaumaturgy shield, which is fantastic. I love it for that aspect, by the way.
So you can do the light thing. But the workers are also there, so it's spread out. So they're like, I don't think anybody has any expertise in demolitions, explosives here. So
unfortunately, not.
Aside from knowing that this, whatever it was, it would have been bad. At least you want to be beside one of these walls anyway. You don't know how extensive it would be. You have to find somebody, maybe in the King's Corps of Engineers, to explain to you, to do the analysis, as it were, study of this.
Right.
But but that's it. So yeah, that is how we leave it. We leave it there. You find in these courts and people sort of scared, and the screaming outside. The camera pulls back and see the enormity of the project, and the guards taking this screaming madman, away, as you have discovered yet another plot against the kingdom. And we're gonna leave it here early, I know, but
yeah, that's good. We can go ahead and do our mottos and go ahead and do our talk, I think.
Yeah. And so let's start. First of all, let's look at the experience. Everybody gets 1 point for being here. It's good. Then see anybody has fulfilled any major. Well, actually, yes, because ironically, this fulfills Spencer's requirement. He has in fact stopped or helped stop a major threat.
Blowing up one of the largest cathedrals? Yeah, that's a major threat.
Yeah, to the kingdom. So your mottos. Let's go from. Let's start with Vesper.
Keep your faith alight, but keep your powder dry. Which I have had a mix of both pragmatism and faith.
And I think by helping Rafeal go back to for having him be first question, but also taking care of him, make sure that he went home safely.
Well, and also dealing with the real politics to see if we could actually identify stuff. Yep, that's me. Religious first, pragmatic second. So yeah.
So that'll be a point for you. Spencer, the motto?
The best secrets are those you are not known to keep.
What secrets were you not known to keep?
Well, he's cast plenty of spells that he's not let anybody know that it was him doing it, like when he caused that guy to crash into the wall and then came up and started examining, like, oh, what the hell's going on here?
Also, your mind reading. Nobody picked that up on that, so that was really good. Yeah. So yeah, I think that definitely you get a point for that. Dax.
Yeah, Dax's motto is "Fortune favors the bold." Yeah, I mean, we climbed the ship. I went chasing after that guy. I didn't know we'd be able to stop him up here. I thought it'd be a chase scene.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was good.
That's a good one. Harmon. I keep robbing Harmon of his righteous battles.
You need to know that you're in for the fight of your life. I'm always around Gregory. I'm a constant threat to anybody who's a threat to him. So.
Yeah, right, you're the tension that's slowly building to the massive fight where you just deck everybody.
And Griffin?
I'm fit to be the king.
Oh, pretty intimidating. And that's that bit, definitely, yeah.
Most important part being a king, delegating the team to do work.
Too. Oh, point for you as well.
Yeah.
And Vesper has the accomplice to go. He basically stopped a threat. So I think that's to be it. So without further ado, unless I forgot something, let's start with the shout-outs. Let's do it in
there's also
order.
supposed to be a brief debriefing where we ask if anything weird is. I'm enjoying the game so far. Like, it feels like it's a living, breathing world, which makes it possible to have a mystery like this. So I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the conspiracy is definitely like racking my mind with like, who could be doing this? Where are they from? What are the elements? And there's like so many questions in the air right now. It's nice to try to get to the bottom of it. I
Yeah,
wasn't expecting they would just take the black powder and then just explode everything. I thought that they were maybe going to like use it to fuel a bunch of guns or something, or cannons, or other weapons. Like, nope, this is gunpowder plot time.
see, that's where I got the idea. Is like, keep it simple,
Mm-hmm.
and it ended up in a very similar manner than the original plot. It's like, well, you screwed up. Also, the mystery thing, it's kind of hard to do. I'm glad that your guys are enjoying it. I hope it's not
Yeah.
very frustrating, so that I'm keeping the pace with giving you clues, so you don't feel like,
Right, yeah.
there's a wall here. We're not finding it, because
Yeah, picking up the lead is the hardest part of it, and when I'm running all my mysteries, it's good to like give someone something to focus on and then follow through, because that informs all the other scenes that come to follow.
Yeah, like as I've mentioned, it's interesting that when the criminals do their activities like stealing the iron or drugging Raphael instead of like killing him, this gives the world a little more texture of there's something a little more complicated going on here, and I appreciate that. It's not being done because it's like a Saturday morning cartoon or something like that. There's something more to these people and what their goals are than just generic evil or something like that. So it's more interesting. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't. This is not a game that is about, the orcs are coming and, get your spells and be murder hobo-y, and, kobolds and orcs and goblins are evil and paladins are good. And so that doesn't apply. I mean, you probably will find some people that are very dastardly and just outright evil, but they're not every other person. And to me, when I'm talking about villains, often I think of villains as being more opportunistic than anything else, right? The people who are truly dastardly evil are people who can take the opportunity. They do set up plans, but it's more of like, oh, here's an opportunity. Like, there's a party. Let's use that. There's a thing. Let's use that. As opposed to like, oh, I control both parts of this great war, and I can finish it whenever I can.
Well, and related to that is, like you said, opportunity. The criminals that we've seen would be better served if they were actually leaving no witnesses behind. The fact that they don't do that says something about their motivations, which helps inform the world and adds texture. So I'm enjoying the part of it that this feels like it's a world populated by people who do things with internal logic and reason.
So, yeah. Anything else?
I've been enjoying the game so far. I have a shit memory, so I have a hard time remembering who's who. I've said this before, but thankfully you've got the dramatic persona up. I hope people keep updating the notes and whatnot, so in case I do forget things, because like I said, shit memory, then I can look it up. But otherwise, this session, I found it easy to follow. I was able to be more engaged. I enjoyed that. And I got to use spells in a non-combat situation, and like I said, because this isn't D&D where every spell is yelled loud enough to be heard a block away, this one can be done just by like lifting an eyebrow.
Yeah.
And I find that fun about the system, that certain things are subtle, certain things are not, and it gives a different flavor to each school of magic.
Yeah, I think I'd really like seeing Spencer in action today, especially getting to show off his cool big new spell, too.
And speaking of that, if it's okay with you, because I tried to do that that little distraction with the enrage spell, if you allow, I'm waffling between panic, which is a group attack, mind and will versus mind and will, that causes afraid and terrified for the lowest roller, or should I get locating so I can be a more useful investigator?
And panic is you need to run away, because panic is like no gestures, it's just instant. Suddenly everyone around you just loses their shit.
Yeah, you don't even have to equip that spell. You just do it.
It's that's it. Everyone loses. Everyone That's everyone within short range. It's a crowd spell. That's everyone within short range
No, it's
and
a group.
everyone you could see within medium range.
Oh, it says magic attack versus group. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, is it a group?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I
It's
think
targeted. It's targeted because otherwise, oh, hey, we're in a fight, panic, and all your allies go.
It's one of the things that makes the condescending
and the
annoying.
bad guys go like, "Well, we resisted."
Well, it's the get the hell away spell, because when you cast
Yeah.
it helps everyone get away.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm confusing that with Riot, which is also a funny spell. So yeah, that's a pretty crazy spell.
Yeah. Well, as much as I want to be a good investigator, I'm also on the fast track towards Bind Shade because that is useful. But I think this time I'm going to go with locating.
Cool.
Fair enough.
Hidden, you got anything?
Between thought reading and locating, you have a lot of the investigation spells sewn up.
Yeah. So I think that's about it, unless anybody else has anything they want to add.
Yeah, you got any comments, Hidden?
No, I think I'm enjoying the game so far. I do like the details, like like has been said already, that Rafeal was drugged and not murdered. Just makes it interesting. So I like those little twists. So it's like, why that? So, or the fact that it's not just gunpowder that the group is getting, but also dead bodies. There's kind of this, necromancer type element to it. It's weirder, a little creepier. It's cool.
Yeah, we built up that there's some weird stuff happening in the background that doesn't have an answer yet.
Yeah, I like when the pieces don't fit neatly. It's there's something more.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Or maybe they will. Who knows? So okay, so now we do the shout outs for those who have them. So I'll start with myself. That way, I also like to thank Newster, who is from my other gaming group, who joined us in the chat, as well as Moongog and everyone else. I am mostly a daytime streamer, Monday to Friday. Finally got my new memory on my computer. It's busted. So I'm going back to Baldur's Gate 2 and maybe do a little Stardew Valley because I needed a break. Ooh. So you want to catch that 8 and 2 o'clock twice a day on Lessons Learned, just like it is in my in the chat with a 1. The 1 is very important. So like that, you can check it out and join the chat. And we also have a Discord. So thank you for having me, and hoping you're enjoying the game as much as I enjoy GMing. And I take the opportunity to remind myself, thank Theta and Griffin for the great opportunity for having me here.
Hey, we're glad to have you here, man. You're great.
Hidden?
Yeah. So my name's Shannon. I go by Hidden Trader. I don't stream much. Pretty much just this game, and as well as Hackmaster on this channel earlier on Sunday.
Best friend? Spencer?
Yes, my name, I go by Arcloid on Discord, and I run a play-by-post on Roleplay Online that seeks to go through the Ironclaw Book of Adventures.
Griffin?
Hey, I'm Griffin. How's it going? I'm also one of the DMs here on this channel, so stay tuned. In half an hour, we'll come back to my game, Urban Jungle, a game where our players go ahead and fight mysterious, terrible cults that worship terrible dark powers underneath the earth. It's fantastic, and now they're going to go straight down to the earth. That's going to be fun. So come join us.
Theta?
Hey, I'm Zeta. I'm the showrunner, if not the host, when my computer's not a piece of shit. If you're watching this, check out Ironclaw on its YouTube release schedule, Thursday mornings at 10 a.m.
And last but not least, Rafferty.
Speaking of Ironclaw, I'm Norman Rafferty. I'm the art director of Ironclaw, which we sell at sanguinegames.com, but mostly drive-through-rpg.com and studio2publishing.com. And let's see, if you're watching this in May 2020, our games are for sale. Also, the Myriad collection, which is the comics and the games, are right now available for free on Drive-Thru RPG. So if you want to check out a science fiction game that follows like Guardians of the Galaxy, Valyrian Heavy Metal, and that kind of stuff, go ahead and check it out.
It is my favorite system they make, so I highly recommend it.
I am also fond of it.
Well, I think we have everybody. Thank you again for coming, and we'll hopefully see you next Sunday. Bye, everybody.
Take care. Thank you for running.